everyone, welcome back. It is time for a wrestling review. Once again, we have Campo.Reviews with me. Once again, we also have the Putty Man. So what the Putty Man here means one thing. We are doing WWE. We are doing WWE Survivor Series War Games 2024. We actually get an appearance from William Regal on this show. But before we get into the review, go check out their stuff. They'll be in the description box down below. And guys, we are 7 subs away from 350. Let us get to 350 before the end of the year. Tell your friends, ring that bell. Let's get this out there. This episode also marks something special. They don't know about this yet, but this episode, the audio version of this podcast, will be up on Spotify. People have asked to be put on Spotify so they can listen. And
How
sure
do you
enough,
put people on Spotify?
people have
I didn't
asked
know.
us to put the episodes on Spotify.
You said people asked to be put on Spotify. I just
Exactly.
want to know how
Asked
they get
us
there.
to be on
They
Spotify.
get there
No,
through the interweb.
Yes.
Yeah,
Through the
no,
interwebs.
We're gonna
this
take
is
it
some not-
and we're gonna put it on the line.
Yes.
So I
Hold the
actually
line.
didn't know you could. I didn't know you could actually put them on Spotify without having like. I didn't figure it's just like an open source kind of
Well, he's
situation
about
you
to
could do
tell
that.
you, and then you just
I'm-
ruined it.
Oh,
He's
okay.
about
It's
to
going to
tell
be
you.
so I created a Spotify account with Spotify for podcasters. And I will be posting this episode. This will be our pilot episode. If it does well, next year, 2025, every major episode will be on Spotify.
I like how he said major. I appreciate that.
Because
Okay.
we're not
No-
going to
no
put some
TNA.
random. We're not going to put random DDT review on.
NWA hard as hell. It's like hard as hell.
But yes, this episode will be up on Spotify. I'll put the link for it in the description box below so you guys can go and check it out. So let us get right into the review. Survivor Series War Games 2024 from lovely and wet Vancouver, British Columbia, where the property prices are just as bad as Toronto.
Worse.
Yeah. But at least
Maybe
they're not
the worst.
at least they're not charging $350 for the last row seat at the Sky Dome for Elimination Chamber.
It was like, hold on. Not for John Cena's last pay-per-view match. Not for John Cena's last match in Canada. Not for John Cena's last match ever. Just for John Cena's last match in Toronto. $350 in a 50,000 seat stadium
Yes.
to sit in the farthest point, like measured away from the ring.
Yeah. It's
is
bad.
absolutely ridiculous for not a big 4 pay-per-view, not even a big 6 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
This is in the secondary 6 is what I like to call it.
Yes, this arena is bigger than the arena they held Money in the Bank in.
This arena, which I paid half the price for amazing seats.
I wouldn't even call it an arena. This is a dome. This is an actual.
I sat in full on, like premium seats for $110 to watch Edge's last match ever in WWE, and in my opinion, he's more important than John Cena in the world of wrestling, not in the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Sorry
The
for everyone who's not
the
seen
joke
that.
here. The joke here writes itself. Sitting in that seat, you will literally not be able to see him.
Well, I was gonna say, why would you even want to go if you can't see him? I haven't seen him yet.
Buddy, you should get tickets.
Okay.
It's
It's definitely
March.
coming through. Speaking of that, Putty, you missed our TNA review, which is tomorrow.
Yes.
You missed it tomorrow. It happened to be in North Carolina.
Yes, it was.
No way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that place.
Yeah, he knows that place.
I know the
Yeah.
place.
It was the. Let's not spoil it. Tune in tomorrow to watch it. It's been recorded, but tune in tomorrow to watch it.
So tune in.
Okay, so let's talk about the women's War Games, which was the first match up. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley against Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Did they run out of women that they had put Candice LeRae in this?
I don't do the day-to-days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I did not understand the logic of either of these teams, especially Bayley willing to be on a team with Io Sky. Made no sense to me.
Yeah, they're friends again. They even referred to them as Damage Control.
Damage Control?
Mm-hmm.
Putty, did you watch this?
Well, yeah, I watched this.
He's
I
upset that
mean,
his girl Jade Cargill was taken out before.
no, that does not, like I
Is that
told you, I'm bored of
Pepto-Bismol?
her. Oh, it's not Pepto-Bismol. It's a little drink.
Oh,
Advertisement, ice.
For
Anyway,
the audio listeners, Putty is holding a pink bottle in his hand.
well,
it
yeah,
looks
right.
like
I forgot.
Pepto-Bismol.
I forgot. We're gonna be on Spotify. Let me explain. It's an ice, a bottle of ice, Starburst flavored drink, water, whatever. Okay. Anyway, no,
I'm drinking O Boost vitamin water.
I'm
there
drinking a
you
sugar-free Red Bull, not a
go.
sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but here's my thing. The whole idea, like I looked at the things leading up to this, and like every single person on every single team shouldn't even been on a team with each other. Like first you have the two that just battled for crown jewel, ranking as the number one on
Oh,
the
that's
same
right.
team.
Yeah, Putty
Yeah.
brings up a good point there. Like you just
Didn't
had
even
Then
Liv
on the
think
other
about
Morgan
it.
side,
versus Nia Jax.
yeah. Then we have over here Io Sky with Bailey. Okay. So there's that. Then because the whole thing was it was the whole Liv versus Rhea Ripley situation. You know what I mean? It's like okay, I get the rivalry, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This is just like the whole thing with the fucking Roman Reigns. Excuse my French, Roman Reigns and all that. You know what I mean? It's I'm tired of these
Oh,
rivalries
now I
like
get the
last
little
so
E
long.
for explicit next to my
Yeah,
title.
my bad.
Reverse.
Well, anyway, but the thing is this, I'm just getting tired of these same storylines going for so long. Listen, I was growing up, Big Boss Man and Hulk Hogan had storylines, but you know what? Sometimes they would kind of verge away from them and do other storylines and come back. No, we got to stick with the storyline because it's popular. And then when it gets popular, it gets drugged to the ground. If you watch Deadpool and Wolverine, you remember the moment where Wolverine got thrown into the ground and dragged across the ground in the middle thing? That's what these feel like. And that's what this match feels like. It felt
Putty's
like
on an
someone just
analogy spree today.
Yeah, he's got the goods
I'm
today.
I'm just saying the problem is I'm tired of it and in general I'm like I could sit there and write better writing for these shows because they I will let's put it they should have the online on YouTube they showed some old Saturday Night Main Events and they showed the one that where Hogan was talking about Big Boss Man and be like he's the judge that kind of stuff and I'm sitting here watching this and I go this is campy and stupid but I'm way more interested in this storyline than I am ever the ones they're doing right now. And I'm like, why is it that simplicity is gone? Why can't we have simplistic storylines that just have a rivalry of two people we really quite enjoy? And it just one character is really shown as the bad guy, like looks evil, all that kind of stuff, and one guy is, you know, looks like the good guy. We're grinding on these whole deep story lores. We're like, I broke my nose, I had this, you took this guy away from me. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching All My Children, but it's a WWE version. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just over it.
Like sands through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
Nice. Um, anyways,
Yeah, but he's right though. Like, I mean, we got to talk about how bad Nia Jax was in this match.
I
Oh,
don't like you. Before
Why?
we start this
really?
off, I'm going to start off this pay-per-view the right way by making both of you super upset. This was easily far and away the match of the night. It wasn't even close. This match was absolutely fantastic. Um,
Okay.
and I'm going to knock what you're saying right there because you just gave me my perfect segue. I do not like Nia Jax. I've never liked Nia Jax. I don't care at all for anything she does or her character or her in-ring work. She was the catalyst of what kept this match together. Watch this match back. Every time Trinity, okay, or Bianca, who
Hmm.
in multiple situations got completely lost in this match, watch her call shots. She goes on the floor and she starts going, do this on me, do this on me. And then boom, all of a sudden someone's jumping off the ropes onto her. Someone's doing a backflip onto her.
Someone puts a toilet bowl seat on
Yeah,
her.
but you could see it. They would get lost, not know what to do. There's so much going on. And Nia Jax would be like, do this, do that. You could see her like calling shots in the ring. And
Okay.
I have
I'll
to
go
give her
back and
credit for
watch it
that.
just for that. Like, I'll go back
I
and watch it
have to
just.
give her
I,
credit.
I'll give her that too, but the problem is even on the opposite end of the spectrum with her, there were so many times there were things just didn't look right when it comes to any the hits she takes because it wasn't like she wasn't trying to sell it, but sometimes it felt like she would oversell something that wouldn't have been that rough, or she would stumble. Like for example, she was struggling when it came to going both rings at some point. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Or
subtract
okay.
her from this match in terms of what you're going to call bad. Who was the worst person in this match?
Oh, they
You
were all
can't
bad.
you
Probably
can't pick
Trinity.
Nia Jax.
Probably Trinity.
Probably Trinity
Yeah,
or
Trinity.
Bailey, I
Yeah,
think. Bailey was pretty bad in this
yeah.
match.
Baylor's pretty
Yeah.
bad. Yeah.
Bailey just doesn't fit in these scenarios for me. Io Sky was fantastic.
Raquel was not
Absolutely.
that great in this match either.
Raquel was, but the way they told the story for me, the reason I think this match was so well done is they used all the big spots properly and they used the characters the way they should. Like Raquel's not very good, so what did they do? They handcuffed her to the thing and left her there. Do you know what I mean? They
Tiffy
pushed
did the
people to the
prettiest
side.
moonsault ever from the
There you
top of the
go. And then
cage. Yeah.
Io Sky looked really good in this match. Rhea
That
Ripley
she
was
has to
really
bring the
good.
garbage can now every
Liv
time.
Morgan's bat shots looked really nice,
Yeah. That,
surprisingly.
Yeah.
I just think there was a lot of really good in this match, and it's for something that I would have immediately came into and been like what we talked about. It's two teams that don't make any sense.
Yeah. They're random.
There's no proper storytelling for what's happening, and you're like, well, how do you make a blood and guts or a World War III match on something that doesn't exist? Like there's no
Yeah.
like blood
There's
feud
no
here.
rivalry.
Yeah, but I think they did a really good job. I just think that the at the end of the day when the match ended, I was like, okay, but now what? You're some of
One
these
of, one of
people
the
are
spots I
heels.
really liked, one of the spots I really liked was when she does the when Tiff does the moonsault and both Naya and Liv are on the ground and she's like, "Should I cash it in?" I kind of like that spot.
See, and that I thought that was really smart too. And then
Yeah,
there's like a really good use of the foliage.
the foliage. There were
Like
trees in there. The
it,
plunder, the
it
plunder.
was a good plunder match for what it was because I think
Naomi
in the
got
men's
attacked with her
match,
birthday hat.
right? And I think when you get to the men's match later, we'll talk about it. There's like they're stuck in this spot now. Like, what didn't the women do in their match?
Hmm.
And it kind of felt like, oh, we're just gonna redo all the same stuff that just happened in that
Yeah.
match. I don't know. I really like this match. I
No, I
thought it
didn't
was
say the match
super
was bad. I
entertaining.
just didn't. I got to go back and watch what you're saying about Naya. I didn't say the match was bad. It was entertaining. I totally had fun with this match. I just thought like some of her Naya's like no selling and some of her shots themselves didn't look
But
right.
I think her general wrestling skill is lacking, right?
Yeah.
And I hate the character, but I do think she understands how wrestling functions now.
And took
And
control in the ring.
I think at the end of the day, what I've taken away from this situation, regardless of her or Raquel being really good, is that Trinity is actually really bad.
Yeah. She did not fit in.
She has an athleticism and nothing else.
Yeah.
That's
I'm gonna
another
stick.
wrestler, by the way. We were saying they had the best women's wrestling roster in TNA tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh, Trinity's
I'm gonna
gone.
stick to my guns. I still didn't like this match.
You
And
can
I,
not
I
like it.
will.
It's fair.
No, no, I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna stick to my guns. Here's my thing. I give her props. Like Nia Jax, she's a big lady. That's it's got to be hard. You know, being a big guy myself, I get how things are like that are hard. But she's also younger, and she's been trained for this stuff.
Not much.
Um.
I think she's only a year younger than you.
Oh, really? Wow. Well,
She's
bravo then.
also lost a lot of weight. She looks like
Yeah.
she's in a lot better shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point to the whole thing is so I get why it's hard for her, and it's really cool she caught that was putting shots to make things look good and everything. But even and then the selling of some of those people just didn't feel right. And I mean, starting this the for the it to be the first thing that starts off the show really kind of started me off on the low point when it came to starting it up. So I mean, I don't, things can only go up, and they do, but it's
I don't
depending
know.
on which
For
match she's
me,
on.
my pluses here were I didn't get any, oh, I just missed you punches at nothing. I didn't get
Yeah.
any, oh, look at this. I don't know where I'm supposed to be standing. Let me like slowly inch over to the spot where I'm supposed to be.
Like scoot over.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
that
There
was a
was
few.
none of that, and
No.
because I maybe it's because there's just so many people in the ring, they were
It
able
was, I
to take
think that,
focus off.
like, and that's the thing too. We give WWE a lot of flack for is the fact that their women's, like, their matches when it's a one all, it doesn't look believable.
They never does because their pacing of match work in the
Yeah,
women's division is slow, which I think is something that NXT is not having a problem with now, having Maddie Rankowski and uh Stephanie and
and
Julia,
Julia and yeah,
stuff like
Zarya.
that. But the main roster, your new recruits, okay? Like they do have a special upper crust of women's wrestlers, right? Like
Yeah,
Charlotte. And your new wrestlers coming in are very strong, like character work, in-ring work. They have everything already coming in. it's the middle tier people like your Liv Morgans and like stuff like that you've homegrown that it
Yeah.
doesn't that WWE homegrown women's division doesn't work anymore in my opinion. You need to get out of that because you're just
Yeah.
taking hot girls or athletes from other sports and trying to make them wrestlers, and that's not how it works. Like get people who want to be wrestlers, who spent their whole life like this is their dream to be.
Yeah.
And I
Like
think
a
you're seeing the
like
changing of the guard now. We're
in
starting to
the, in
push out those
in
trinities.
NXT, yeah.
You're starting to push those people out.
And I think we're going to see that too. Like I've noticed with the tournaments now that they're doing, because WWE is bringing out the women's US Championship and the women's Intercontinental. It's a chance for some of these, I guess, lower cards, like Michin, whatever you want to call her, like whatever her name is. It Michin now?
Yeah.
She's been fantastic in this tournament.
Which is odd because she's been so bad since she went back to WWE. She was
Yeah,
really good in TNA. There you go. That's another name that
yeah.
left TNA from that peak
And
era.
then you got Chelsea Green really coming
That's
out in
another
the
name that left TNA from that peak era.
right.
Like,
Uh,
which remember we were struggling to think of
yes.
names.
Well, we didn't want to name too many because they may be, like you said, maybe a tier list coming up for that one.
Yeah, but it's there's like there's a changing of the guard happening. I think the days of the Alexa Blisses being upper tier wrestlers is
Yeah,
over. Character work stuff, like being part of the Wyatt family or
yeah.
whatever, yes, I think that stuff will still be there. The push for popularity from
Which is
Liv,
a perfect place for someone like Nikki Cross in that
yes,
situation.
right, exactly. But those wrestlers like Nikki Ash being someone who's going to win a title is never happening again
No,
in WWE.
maybe
They're
the
signing
Rizzler.
way too many women's wrestlers for that kind of stuff
Yeah,
to be
especially
happening.
big names like that. But Rhea Ripley gets the pin on Liv Morgan, so obviously that feud's going to continue.
Mhm.
Good. I don't care. Fine.
Yeah.
I'll watch
Um,
Liv Morgan every week.
so we'll go into our next match. LA Knight defending the WWE United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura.
I have a
What
lot to say here, so if you
what
guys
a
wanted to say
great
whatever you
gimmick. I
want.
like his new gimmick.
I don't
I
like the
enjoyed this
song.
match.
Sorry?
I don't like the song.
No, his old song was much better, but
It's very boring.
now we'll talk about this at the end of the match, but I know Putty might be upset at this match because LA Knight's your guy.
LA
Well,
Knight's
yeah,
my guy. Get the hell out of here.
yeah, no, he is. But here's the thing, it doesn't bother me, especially going into it. This was actually, again, this was one of those storylines I actually had got more into. It felt more polished, and even later, which this won't be spoiler, but I watched I think it's Monday or SmackDown where they showed him with the bloodline or the new bloodline, and he was in there. That whole face he did with the black goo coming out of his mouth. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, thank you for giving me something a little
He
more
was very
different.
Muda-esque in this.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm enjoying this. I'm
I
liking the
think
way you're
that's what he's
pulling this.
doing.
Yeah, he's doing the Muda
I think
gimmick.
he because he's good friends with him, so I think he got permission to like
Yeah.
just literally like bring that character to the modern generation.
And
Yeah. And
I feel it's working. Good, sorry.
Campo, you said you got something to say about
I
this.
got a lot to say.
Okay, say it.
Number one, okay, first of all, Shinsuke Nakamura wins.
Hmm.
Congratulations. Um,
Is he bringing the belt with him to
yes,
Japan?
that's all this is. So there's only two reasons for this to exist for me. Number one, he is because they want him to carry a belt to Japan. Okay. Like when they remember the tag belt situation,
Hmm.
why they had Marufuji win the tag belt was because they just wanted him to fight AJ Styles with a
With the
belt to have a
belt.
belt. Um, that's number one. And number two is I believe he this to be a transitional championship, and they didn't want LA Knight to lose it to somebody else. So they found a way to do it this way, and now they can have anyone that they really want win the title. Because they don't need to protect Shinsuke. Shinsuke went 1-36 last year.
Yes.
He's nobody cares what his record is. He's
No.
already his company
His
madness to
status is
me is
legendary
yes.
already.
And I do feel like maybe he's not because his contract still has time, but he's like 1 foot out the door. He's already in under the understanding that he's
Yeah.
gonna go to Japan back. Like maybe he's gonna sign to Noah and end
And
his career
still do spots in
in
WWE.
WWE, and this way he can live out the same final days of his career. Kind of, I know he's still younger, but like the Muda did, he went to
Yeah.
Noah, he did it there.
put a few guys over.
put
This
a
is
few
all
guys
to put.
over.
This is to put Sasaki over.
And in
Sasaki.
Noah, okay, being in Noah, he can still wrestle in All Japan and New
Yeah.
Japan.
Poor Putty thing is like I don't know what they're talking about right now.
Well,
But
no, I do,
I
but
see
it's
that, right? Because you don't want LA Knight to lose to like a scrub
No.
wrestler, but you don't care if Shinsuke loses to a scrub wrestler.
Yeah.
Because LA Knight is definitely on the move up, I think.
Yes. LA Knight, I think, is next in line for Gunter.
And that's why they're telling the weak Gunter story, which we'll get to.
LA Knight is winning the Rumble this year. I'm saying that right now.
I
Okay.
think I agree with you. Yeah.
I'm not upset with that at all because Gunter doesn't need to win because he already has the belt.
Right. I think I was talking with some friends at work who they all friends of the channel, Joseph, Matt, Anthony. Hey to you guys. Um, but yeah, and we were talking about who really could win the Rumble. Like some are like The Rock, but I don't think The Rock is winning the Rumble. The Rock just
Mm-mm,
is main event no matter what. He doesn't need to win the Rumble.
It
mm-mm,
also doesn't make sense to put over veteran, like elder statesmen. Like,
Hmm.
do what they're doing with Chris Jericho this time around to me is like egregious in
Yeah.
AEW. Before the first Ring of Honor, I get it. You're giving him his little nod. You're gonna have him put someone else over. Good. But having him win it again is like, what do you
Again.
do with it now?
Yeah,
Right?
it doesn't make
The
sense.
Rock doesn't
Exactly.
need to win anything. It
No.
makes absolutely no sense. It's like when John Cena, they were putting him on that push for the tag belts.
Yeah. It means nothing to him.
Why does he need that?
No.
He
But
said out of his own mouth that he just wants to put people over. He wants to have good
yeah,
matches
on
and
his
put
way
people
out.
over. Yeah.
On his way out. But yeah, I mean, going back though, let's go back and talk about Shinsuke. So this is all for him to go to Noah with a belt.
For sure. The thing is, and he's never won, or he's only the one of two people that's won this version of the U.S. belt three times, or something like that.
Hmm.
There's some kind of record that he has for it.
Yeah.
Um, or the only person to win this intercontinental belt and
And
this
this US
U.S.
champion.
belt
Yeah.
three times.
But yeah.
Um, either way, this match was pretty good. It was just too short.
Yes.
It
It was
felt
not even
really
10
short.
minutes. Yeah.
But you could tell all of these matches in between the two War Games matches felt like they were cut for time. They all
Yeah.
felt like something
The
was
two War
missing.
Games matches alone were almost an hour and a half,
Yeah.
which is long for like WWE standards.
Well, especially because you know you're gonna have those 30-minute spans of
Yeah.
interlude cutscenes.
Otis wearing no pants.
That was funny as hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's Putty's guy for sure.
That's Putty's guy. But yeah, congratulations to Shinsuke as your new United States champion. So with that, a lot of people were saying this match was match of the night. I cannot agree with that. Gunther versus, or sorry, not Gunther, Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser.
This was a good match. I don't know
Why is Sheamus here?
why is Ludwig Kaiser here.
Ludwig Kaiser is a great wrestler, though. He showed talent in
He
this
was the
match.
worst of the three people in this match.
Really? I thought Sheamus was.
Sheamus was the glue that held the match together, though. I think if you just had Ludwig versus
Braun
Braun
Breaker?
Breaker, it wouldn't have been a good match.
No, eh?
You need a veteran shot caller. To me, that's what you had there, and you had someone to take bumps and give bumps, and not make
Okay.
either guy look weak while making both of the other two look strong. If you just had those two together, you'd have to have Braun crush him, or else what's the point of Braun?
I mean,
Yeah.
you could have like you could have Kaiser out wrestle him, like mentally out wrestle him.
But I don't think Braun's there yet. Putty thoughts?
I mean, here's the thing. Braun Breaker is the
Brown
thing with
Breaker.
him is Braum. Anyway, um, the thing with him is I get his appeal. I mean, for me, it's still going to be whenever I look at him, which of course he's in relation to them anyway. Is I'm going to keep seeing Scott Steiner and everything. You know what I mean? The Steiner brothers in general because he does the same thing they do. So I'm going to keep seeing that. But I get the appeal for the new audience and why that is. Here's the thing: Sheamus was really boring in my eyes. I get why he's there because he is more of a muscle to really make Braun, make Braun look good. And then I have to kind of agree with Campo on this. What's his name? I can't think of his name now.
Famous.
He's No, not Sheamus.
Ludwig
Ludwig.
Kaiser.
Ludwig. Yeah, Ludwig. He just seems like a small version of Gunther. That's all it's ever going to be. It's never going to be. He's never going to stay out of that shadow in my eyes and be his
He's
own
no
character.
Giovanni Vinci.
Right. I mean,
Giovanni
anyway,
Vinci.
that's a while back. Anyway, but yeah, it's not the same appeal or anything like that. And this match was really boring to me. I I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking for more again, like I said, and even looking back at some of these old stuff because I guess maybe I've had a little bit of time to watch a little bit of old wrestling. And like it's made me just appreciate the simplicity of these things sometimes. And I think that's what we're missing is like, you need change. Sometimes the change is just not having anything extravagant. Make it basic and just give us wrestling. And you know me, I want the extravagance. I've always been the one the podcast that says I want the extravagance. I want the
You
big
want the pomp
excitement.
and circumstance. You want the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but
You want the
now it's like
showmanship.
I've gotten that already. Let's have a little change. But it's like we're on this constant rotation, same old, same old, same old. Like, the bloodline, the story with a prime example, Damian Priest when he freaking little situation with well actually that was this
But
pay-per-view,
that's the
wasn't it?
next match.
Yeah, exactly. That's again
We'll talk
more
about it when we
shenanigans
get to
though.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But Gunther, or sorry, keep thinking Gunther. Barnbreaker does retain this. They added a little bit of color to the belt, though.
Yeah, I
I just
like it.
noticed they added a little bit of blue. It
That's what
makes it,
I've been asking for since they introduced that belt. Was just put some blue in the on the globes
yeah,
and
and
the
it looks
red in the W
a
or
little
in the
bit better now.
swoosh.
So, with that, we'll go into our next match. Gunther versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was better than their last match at SummerSlam.
It was, but I
Yes.
don't like the story they're telling because
Weak
it's
Gunther.
you're basically just trying to give me your excuse for why. Like where in other companies, AEW or New Japan or whatever, you'd sell an injury for this
Hmm.
loss. Here they're like, oh, he's getting mentally weak because he's saying mean things to him. Like, what?
Grow
This guy
up.
was literally a fucking unit for 3 years, and now he's just a little
He
bit.
has spent 85% of his time in WWE as a champion.
And now he's scared of Damian Priest, the least deserving main event person that you have right now.
When
And
are we
here's
getting
the thing.
Damian Priest versus Gain?
I'll take that.
But here's my thing.
The
The
loser comes out
Gunter,
of the closet.
as far as like a match, the
Closet
Damian
match.
As far as the match, though, I actually don't have any downfalls to it. I think it's a decent match. As far as the storyline, like y'all are talking about, like the whole injury, the with the shoulder, the arm, and everything, and then, of course, I'm throwing it out there now, and then of course, Finn coming in and stopping again.
Shenanigans, yes.
Like, stop this! I get it. You're mad at him, and you want to
But
ruin
his
his life.
Shenana guy was broken up immediately.
Yes.
Well, no, I get that, but no matter what, it's
Shenanigan.
just. Again, we're on this a constant circle of let's do the same thing over and over again when simplicity is not fun no more. And I got like some of us want that back. You got to entertain everyone. And when you think your audience is going to be sitting there wanting the same thing over again, I get OTC. Cheering OTC is awesome. I'll admit some of these elements I do like a little bit, but the problem is the elements I really do want in all of this are not even there. Like when I heard they were going to reveal like we can tell this part because they did it before the thing, and we're coming up to that anyway. But when they revealed CM Punk to be the fifth person, I'm like, you lost an opportunity to really use a big time player in this and actually get. Don't make me say it, but you know what I wanted to say. And the thing
What,
is
Goldberg?
no, The Rock.
The
You had
Rock won't do
opportunity.
a War Games.
Well, no, I get that, but I'm saying
We're
it's
not
not
even
like
talking about war games.
I know. But my point is when I'm gonna get back to this. I'm using this as a whole.
I'm gonna show you
Bringing
a
it
whole.
back around.
I'm bringing it back around. This is just another way that I'm saying that they could shock and awe people, and instead of their shock and awe, it's just like Finn Balor again. Oh no! Like, dude, you are the worst way of setting up a soap opera, and I have watched the same actor do the same thing over and over again. But for some reason, you think that people are shocked when it happens each time. No, it's not shocking. That's all I got to
Well, Gunther wins.
say.
He
And
can't lose to Damian Priest.
no. This I guess puts like I don't know. This puts Gunther back into like he wasn't dominant in this match, but he still like out wrestled him completely.
You're trying, this is the problem I have specifically with this scenario. You're trying to take a guy who's a very good in-ring worker and have him sell the idea that he's not a good in-ring worker. And like, so watching the match is weird because it's like he's actually trying to wrestle poorly, but so you
He
have to,
can't because he's so good.
and you're like, you're trying to watch the match and judge the match based on the quality of the match. And he's not wrestling well. So you're like, well, this isn't that good of a match. But then you're trying to remember at the same time, he's purposely doing this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of actually really good what he's doing, but at the same time, it's like you're not. It's
This
making
is
the
this is
match
what
worse.
leads to my point being I think LA Knight is winning the Rumble and it's going to be Gunther versus Knight at Mania.
I can take that.
I'll
And you're
take
saying
it.
that basically, but Gunther is going to be like, ever since the Cody Rhodes match, I haven't been the same.
They have to halt the turn though. He's Gunter made it somewhere between a face and a heel at this point.
What my theory is LA Knight's going to win this belt off of Gunther
Mm-hmm.
and Gunther's going to go after Cody to get his win back.
But will Gunter win that
Oh
Royal
yeah.
Rumble?
No, Gunther will not win the Royal Rumble, but
The next Royal Rumble to get the belt from Cody. Is Cody going to go on a Roman Reigns level run?
no, I think that is going to be the SummerSlam match is Gunther versus Cody.
I'm okay with that.
And Gunther will beat Cody because this Cody run has been lackluster.
So boring.
It's been he's not
Jesus.
even on the show.
And I
don't- don't care.
what they're going to do. And I have a feeling I'm put especially with the recent stuff I've seen. And you're putting this right in line. It's been predictable. So basically, what's going to happen is Kevin Owens is going to
Oh, he's going to lose. Which
No, no,
why is he facing Kevin Owens again? This is what I don't understand.
But that's what I'm saying. The Kevin Owens is gonna continue to injure him, okay, to the point where he finally fights Gunther, and that way he has an excuse why he loses to Gunther, is that Kevin Owens continuously injured him, which costs him the match, and that's gonna be the reason why Cody Rhodes looks good when he loses the belt because they're like, oh, well, he had a reason for it.
Yeah. And Cody, I think Cody's Mania match is Cody versus Randy.
Why Cody versus Randy?
Because that's the story right now.
Just stop putting Randy Orton in anything.
That doesn't make
Put
sense to
Randy
me.
Orton on NXT to put over 12-year-old guys that are there wrestling. Like, what are we doing here?
I think it's going to be Randy versus Cody at Mania.
That's gross. That's
stupid.
fucking gross.
And he'll like I mean Cody's defenses have been what? Now this is 2 times against Kevin Owens, once against AJ, twice against Randy.
What's
That's
the
it?
catalyst for Randy Orton? What's the catalyst for
Yeah,
both
like
of them?
I'd rather watch him wrestle Bo Bandy from freaking Trailer Park Boys.
But what's
The
the
Blue Jay
catalyst?
Burger
That
match.
they were a team together. Him, Randy, and Kevin Owens. They were fighting against the Bloodline at one
Right,
time.
and Cody's defending Randy Orton against
Right.
Kevin Owens. So what would be his
But
reason to
Randy
go
is
against
like,
Cody?
give me my shot now.
Oh God, really? That's a
Yeah,
storyline?
honestly,
Shot
I
for
think
the
that's
third time.
yeah.
I love how I asked for simplicity. Then when I said, "You're my friend, give me a shot." Okay, that's way
Basically,
more.
well, the simplicity is the same thing with Kevin Owens. I don't like you anymore because you never gave me my shot.
Oh my God,
Except all I do is
I
give you
don't like you
shots.
anymore. You never give me a good
Yeah.
show. All right, anyway.
Moving on. Men's War Games match. Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami Zayn, CM Punk against the new bloodline, Wolfpack bloodline, which damn you, Wrestle Talk, you stole my Wolfpack bloodline idea. But
It was said before. Yep.
yeah, I said it first. It's Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tamatanga, and Tangaloa, and Bronson Reed.
So, in similar vein, I would say that the story is equal to NWO Black and Silver. So
Yes, the Bret Hart NWO.
after NWO regular,
Mhm.
after NWO Wolfpack,
Because they reformed.
then it became two regular NWOs that eventually became Silver, and then was the Hogan team, and then
Yeah.
the other team was like Eric Bischoff's team.
Yes.
And this is where we're at with the storyline. This is WCW year
1999, 2000. Yeah.
storytelling that we're in. Okay. Number two,
Yep.
you spent absolutely 3 weeks to over a month building a storyline that nobody gave a shit about between Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, only to put CM Punk
No payoff.
only to put CM Punk in this match for no reason at all except to sell tickets. And he was arguably the worst part of this match, not named Tongaloa.
Yes. And I'm a CM Punk guy, and we know that. Like,
This match was not good all the way around. It wasn't bad.
no.
It was fine.
Yeah. And now
You know
we'll
what's
never
funny?
get that. We'll never get that Bronson Reed Seth Rollins payoff kick because Bronson Reed broke
This
both his ankles.
this pay-per-view had 3 injuries, 4 injuries. Jimmy Uso,
Hmm.
uh
Bronson
Solo
Reed.
Sikoa. I mean, not Solo Sikoa. Bronson Reed. Jacob Fatu got hurt, but he's
Hmm.
still wrestling through it. And in the women's match, I can't remember who got hurt. Somebody got hurt.
It was it Belair or was it
I don't know. Somebody got hurt. It's
LeRae? Candice LeRae got hurt in that
Candice
match.
LeRae.
You know what's funny? Through this whole match, the only thing I thought of, only thing that was on my mind, and still is the only thing that this whole pay-per-view has
You
on my
were
head,
always on my mind.
exactly, is that what was the favor? What favor does he owe to CM Punk now?
That's more. It's less than that. You could have had Seth Rollins, and it made sense within the storyline, and you wouldn't have to owe anyone a favor. But
Hmm.
now, CM Punk. I
I mean,
just
are we
this
supposed
is
to go?
That's going to be the Mania match.
in the
Is
simplest.
that going to be the Mania match?
That's going to
Punk
be the
versus
Roman Reigns versus CM Punk,
not The Rock.
not The Rock.
It's going to be The Rock versus Solo for the beads.
The anal beats.
The what's it
Uh,
called? The Ula
I don't
Head
Ula.
it,
know. Listen, how about this? Who gives a shit? And this is like the definition of why I don't like WWE is the logic base. And this happens in the women's match when it's like, okay, look at the team.
Yeah,
When you go New Japan and you just slap a match together and you're like, well, I don't know if I want to watch this and it ends up being a banger match. You're like, okay, I get it because they're never telling a storyline anyways.
it's just a
WWE is
match.
so rooted in some kind of storyline that all of this was like, I don't understand why. And
It's like Suzuki versus what's his name there? Great O'Khan.
yeah, there you go. This guy's learning. So, but at the end of the day, like it was fine. Like I'm not upset at this match. I
Yeah,
wouldn't point at this match and call it bad. I
no. And
I
compared to some of the other tripe that we've been getting from WWE lately, this was one of the better shows.
for sure. This is actually one of the good shows of the year, not best, good shows of the year in
Yeah,
wrestling. Um, I just it's a weird thing to me. You had the women's match and they did, and usually we get the women's match and you get
yeah.
like a big spot, like the Io Sky spot, and then a
Hmm.
couple little things. They went all out. They did a lot of really, really big spots.
Yeah,
And it left the men's match in a scenario of what do you do? He brought in a toolbox and then they just kicked it out of the ring. Like,
yeah. I mean, Fatu took a gnarly spot off that toolbox, though.
fair enough.
But
No, Fatu took a lot of gnarly spots. You could tell he definitely hurt himself. Like
yeah,
he was grabbing his leg at one point for a while.
but
Mhm.
yeah, good guys win, I guess.
Jonah, what Jonah? What's his name?
Uh, Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed lay wrapped around the ropes in the corner of the ring for like the last half of the match.
Because he had two broken ankles.
I know, but it was just like it was funny to watch it.
How did they get him out of the arena? Because he's not a
I
small
don't know.
boy.
They got Yokozuna out before, like get a forklift
Yeah, it
or
was a
something.
pallet on a forklift.
Yeah,
All I
But
know
yeah,
is yeah, I get it was the better, but I feel like even in my eyes, the better might have been just even some of the single matches. I mean, it feels more like at a whole it was better, but only because the last one wasn't as good. Does that make sense?
I still think the women's match was the best
yeah.
match of the night. It was so
Mm.
entertaining,
Uh,
so entertaining.
my match of the night definitely was the LA Knight versus
But as
Sheamus,
much as I
Sheamus,
hate to agree, Campo, I'm with you. The women's match was great. I'm still not a fan of Nia Jax, but
Sometimes it only takes talking about it to be
yeah.
like, oh yeah, you know what, that was good. Anywho, I give this pay-per-view a 7.7.
Okay, that's fair. I gave this a 7.5.
I was at 7.5.
You're a 7.5 as well?
Yeah, yeah.
It is a good pay-per-view.
It was. Like, I mean, considering like
Give me a 7.8. It
7.8,
sounds cuter.
I mean, compared to Bad Blood,
I mean,
compared to
I
Crown
listen,
Jewel,
I was entertained thoroughly for this entire pay-per-view.
yeah.
No excuses. CM Punk's aside, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And what we're saying is tune in tomorrow for that, but we've recorded it already, which doesn't make sense. You can tell by the time on the clock. Um, the long drawn out storytelling, nothing happened. Like the main event of WWE pay-per-views we talk about is like you wait for what happens after the main event for that story to play out. We got nothing.
I know, and in AEW and in TNA, we
Hmm.
did.
Yeah. No, what's his name there? Hikaleo. No, Zilla. No, Lance
And is
Anoa'i.
it weird that now, like the suspense for me, like what I'm hanging on to for watching these bloodline storylines is like just waiting for when are these idiots coming? Like how
Yeah.
much longer am I gonna wait? Hikuleo's been gone from New Japan for like a
A
year.
year.
I mean, it hasn't been a year, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it was what, August, his last match with ELP?
Was it August?
August.
It's now December,
Yeah.
the year of our Lord 2024.
Hmm. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. Tune in tomorrow. Campo and I will have our review of TNA's Turning Point. So tune in tomorrow for that. Next week we're gonna have NXT Deadline and TNA once again. Final Resolution. Yay. Not a single TNA show in Toronto this year. Last year they did a few.
Yeah, they had like 3 pay-per-views in Toronto last year.
Yep. And this year they didn't do a single one. So thank you, Scott Demore. So with that out of the way, guys, thanks again for joining us. And in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.